laugh at this next part.
In a world of political correctness and cancel culture, two comedians have risen up to prove that with the right angle, anything can be funny. This is You Can't Laugh at That.
Who writes these? We should have this person locked up and looked at.
Live from Golden Ox Studios in Cleveland, Ohio, it's Steve Mers and David Horning. On this week's episode,
I'm a personal fan of being honest about everything. And you never know what you can tap into and who you can tap into about what you say in your material. There's not anything that I want to talk about. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what it is and who has to say about it. If I find the funny in it, I'm going to talk about it, because what is the purpose of me holding on to specific information? Obviously, if something has happened to me and I feel a certain type of way about it, it must have had to happen to someone in this life, and then maybe they don't know how to deal with it. And if I say it, then maybe that'll help someone.
Welcome to You Can't Laugh at That, the podcast where we take topics you can't laugh at and we find ways to laugh at them in the never-ending quest to prove that anything can be funny. With me, as mostly always, is Steve Mers, live from the shores of Lake Erie.
Yep. I'm in San Juan, Norway right now. So
that's going to be a hot spot in a few years, literally.
Absolutely.
How are you today? In assuming that we didn't have a recording earlier a couple hours ago.
Oh, having a good day. Just a little bit. It's hitting the afternoon tiredness, I think. I got to wake back up. I got more coffee, though, so I'm good. I should be good.
Yeah, that's the first thing I'm doing after we do this. And speaking of we, joining us today from L.A. is Jasmyn Carter by way of Cleveland. What is going on?
What's up?
Thanks for jumping on the podcast. Jasmyn, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into comedy in the first place?
I was just a wee little girl in the mean streets of Maple Heights, Ohio. Social media was a thing before Vine, before Instagram, and I used to just take silly pictures and put them side by side and say funny captions. And then Vine came along, and I was like, oh, messed up, because they gonna get all of me. And then Instagram came, and then that was going good, and I was like, well, shit, this is going pretty good. I might get famous. I'm going to get famous, and they're gonna expect me to do stand-up. And that's got into it. I felt it was kind of like the next step, more so an obligation. Didn't want to do it, but I did, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this.
What was your first time? Like, do you remember your first time doing like a mic?
Who doesn't remember their first time? Yeah. I remember September 13th, 2015, Gyro, Kent, Ohio, open mic on a Sunday. It was, I got there like 2 hours early. I was scared, so it was only right to be drunk off of Mango 3 Olives. I talked to a guy there. I signed my name up, maybe number 3 or 4 on the list. The open mic finally started. There was Nick playing the guitar, and somebody else went up, and then somebody else went up, and then the Christian rapper guy went up. Y'all know who I'm talking about?
I think I remember someone like that.
He was like built like a dad. He had glasses, and he used to be just a white dude, just used to be rapping. And I thought that was so strange, because I really didn't know what he was saying. But why is somebody always doing the landscaping every time I try to do anything? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, then I went up. I don't remember what I talked about, but I just remember feeling like I belong here. This is it. This is what I'm gonna do forever, and I never stopped.
So you went from being hesitant about it, and then the first time you got on stage, you were like, "This is it.
This is it." And I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to get on the stage again." I used to go from doing it every Sunday, and I think I used to go to Akron or I didn't go to the Funny Stop yet, but Sean Boyd had a mic in Akron on Wednesdays, and I used to go there, and so it used to be Sunday and Wednesdays. And then I started going to Cleveland and do stuff like LVT on Wednesdays. And my first show in Cleveland actually was the Grog Shop.
Mm.
And John Bruton and Nelson Davis were hosting together. And they teased me for maybe 20 minutes before I got up there. And it went well. And yeah, they teased me after, and you know what they do.
Right. How old were you when you first started doing stand up?
20.
20. Oh, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Good age to start.
Yeah, for sure. Did your Vine stuff and your Instagram stuff, did you like try to write that for the stage, or did you write totally new stuff?
Well, yeah, it was, I don't even know if I wrote anything. I just was saying things into a microphone, and then I started to write stuff down. But I honestly don't really remember what it is I was discussing, but I know that it was different from the videos, because I wanted to be different, and I stopped doing the videos just to develop the skills separately. And once I did that, I went back to doing videos too. And I was like, well, I can distinguish between the two.
Yeah, that's a good.
Because what's in the videos all the time ain't gonna be funny on stage.
I know. I've done that. When I first started doing stand-up, I come from a sketch background, so I was like trying to bring some of that onto the stage, and then that didn't work. And then I tried to write one-liners, and that wasn't me. So yeah. All right. So let's talk about your bit. This is a clip. It's from Flappers. It is like I watched a couple of your videos, and I was like, man, what do I want to talk about? Like, but this is just, it's a good bit. It's the chlamydia bit. I don't know if you want to introduce the clip, if you know what clip I'm talking about. It's on your YouTube.
Okay, this was right before I won their comedy festival. This was a month before, a couple weeks before. Yeah. This was a good show. Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I had chlamydia once. Anybody? Y'all lying every time. Y'all act like y'all can't get rid of it. Dang, I'm the only one who. Whatever, I'm cool. Y'all all nerds, I guess. I got chlamydia from this man who would say to this day that I didn't get it from him, even though he was the only person that I've been with. He told me that maybe my wash rag touched my roommate's wash rag. Then I got a yeast infection that I had too long, and then it turned into chlamydia. So I got Mighty Morphin STDs out here. I can't trust nobody, not even my loofah. What? We're not together anymore. Also don't have chlamydia.
Laughing.
Oh, wow, that felt great. I felt like I was there.
Yeah, how does it feel like watching your stuff with other people?
It's usually weird, but just because in the state that we're in and we haven't done stand-up in a while, I felt like I was there. So that literally has made my day. I'm gonna have a great day now.
Bringing a tear to your eye.
My muscles, man. I was about to choke the mic out.
Yeah. Are gyms closed out there right now? Yeah.
Yep.
Shit.
I'm still working out. I still got the guns.
Yeah. That bit, when did you decide it was funny? Like, when did you realize? First of all, take us through the actual story of like how that came about.
Okay. I did whatever. Everything I said is true. I don't usually say anything that hasn't happened to me or that I don't actually think. But it was literally, I found out on Valentine's Day. I think this was right before I started doing stand-up. So like February 2015. It was Valentine's Day, and the guy that I had been with, we weren't together at the time. He had broke up with me, and someone told me that he was like cheating on me. So I went to go get tested. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get tested. It should be fine, but I will say I remember like using the bathroom and it would burn. It was burning. I'm like, man, that's so weird. It's a specific burn, and it was only burning like on one side. And I was like, well, that's very strange. Maybe somebody he scratched me or something. I don't know. So it just so happened that Valentine's Day I had a date. I had a date with someone completely different. And we were out to eat at a hibachi restaurant.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call, and I knew it was the hospital because you know how you got caller ID, and it just whatever. I was like, oh, this is the hospital. I was like, hold on, I'll be back. So I go into the bathroom, I'm like, hello, and it's loud, and there's a bunch of people. And they're like, I was like, what? They was like, chlamydia. You have chlamydia. I was like, what? It was like, you don't have HIV or anything else, but you have tested positive for chlamydia. We're sending you a prescription like right now. I was like, okay, all right. I guess they figured it's Valentine's Day. I'm probably going to be fucking. I wasn't at the time. I wasn't going to. But I just felt so bad. And I called my best friend and I was crying and I had to work that day. And I was like, I cussed him out so bad. I called him like, you fucking, in front of all these white people at work. And they were just looking at me so scared. And I felt terrible. I felt so dirty. And when I started stand up, that wasn't like one of the things I talked about. But I just started to, for whatever, I don't know. But the joke was different. It was not as complex and as funny as that. I was talking to my best friend maybe like a couple of months before that clip that you showed, and we were just talking about what happened, and we just talked about it. And I remember the specifics of what he said to me, and that made it funnier. It's like, well, he did say that I didn't get it from him. He did say that he tried to convince me. Really, he tried to convince me that I got raped. He tried to convince me that I got raped because one night I did get drunk in college, but I was in my room, like in my dorm room by myself. But he tried to convince me that the guy who took me home that night raped me. He's like, you don't know what happened. He could have raped you. I'm like, well, first, why would you say that? Why would you try to convince me that I got raped instead of just owning up to what you did? And then he tried to convince me that I was a lesbian and that I was having sex with women, but I wasn't. And I didn't even think about doing anything like that. And I literally just got it from him, and he still like denied it. And I didn't get it from him. It's dumb. But yeah, that's what happened.
That's that's absurd. Like,
yeah, it's just so stupid.
Oh man, yeah. That's what is. I feel like that's the central piece of that bit too. Mm-hmm. It's just like this dude trying to come up with all these excuses
instead of just saying I messed up. Like, I already know you cheated on me, so why? Obviously, you're fine, so you had to have had it. And you took care of it, and you probably found out after like we broke up and didn't think or something or whatever, or was going to think that maybe because you were my first and I was so hurt that I was going to sleep with somebody else and blame it on them. And I almost did. Literally almost did sleep with this guy. He was like a guy from my childhood, and we were going to sleep together, but he didn't have a condom, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. But had I did, he would have had it too. And you never know how he would have reacted. I could have got beat up and it would have been his fault. So I don't know. It was just dumb. It ain't like you gave me AIDS. Just say, yeah, I fucked up. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, even then, it's like, take a little responsibility. Pay for this these antibiotics and let's move on.
But that's not the first time he gave me something. The first time he gave me something was when I first went to college, and I kept getting like sick in my vagina, and it's so funny. And I just went to the doctor, and it was like, "You got trick." I'm like, "Who? What? Tricks are for kids? What you mean?" And it tricking them and just, whatever. I don't know. Girls is guys it goes away in guys by themselves, but girls need antibiotics.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not fair, man. Well, I'm glad. I mean, it's a good bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, you put yourself out there. I always appreciate that. And the way you open it up too, you're just like, chlamydia, anyone? Like,
yeah, nobody ever says woo. Maybe once every 10 shows if someone says woo. But people are lying. People will be like so embarrassed. It's like you didn't get it from yourself. Like you got it.
Yeah.
Someone gave it to you.
Right.
Statistically speaking, one of you has to have it.
Right.
At least.
Somebody got it right now. And this
It's not a big deal. I'm here to make it okay. And you very quickly do that, even though it was like a bullshit thing. The fact that you like find the funny in just his bullshit. I'm sure you were pissed about it at the time, but I mean, being able to find the funny and stuff like that, like that's a skill, and it's almost like a mental illness that comedians have. But I think, it's something that people can learn from. Like if more people had that ability to say, all right, this sucks now, but there's something here. Like,
yeah, because it could be way worse. I could have had a baby, and I would still have to look at that little asshole today.
Yeah, that is an STD that doesn't go away.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That's my worst fear. It's literally my worst fear.
Getting someone pregnant or being pregnant? Which one?
Oh, both. But because obviously the other one would be even weirder. But yeah, no, for sure. Just not have. I don't want to have a kid ever.
Oh man.
So
I have. Yeah, I don't have nightmares really, but that's the one. Like I'll wake up, my girlfriend's next to me, and I'm like, no kid. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't have fun nightmares anymore. I'm not getting chased by monsters or anything.
Oh man, I get chased by monsters in my dreams.
Yeah, those were fun. I decided at one point that anytime I would have one of those dreams, I'd find a way to like get powers. So like I went from like waking up scared to being like, no, you can't get me because I got like sword hands or something dumb. And so like this like nightmare would turn into like this action movie.
How do you even be coherently thinking while you're asleep? That's crazy.
I don't know. I read into like lucid dreaming a few years ago and like how to kind of control like what direction. It doesn't always work.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't like superpower away the babies in my dreams.
Definitely not.
It's not a Marvel movie anyone wants to watch.
You can't laugh at that.
Why do you think this bit connects so well with audiences? Because I mean that was 1 minute, but you maybe got like 3 jokes in because everybody's laughing.
I think because it's something that people can relate to. I think STDs are very, very common. Like chlamydia, gonorrhea, those two everybody are going to get in some part of their life. And even though people aren't admitting that they've had it, they probably know someone who's had it and they know how ridiculous that sounds. Everybody knows how you get an STD. It's in the fucking name, sexually. So how is it that you can make an excuse on how I got it, but it's a sexually transmitted disease? So how could I have not gotten it sexually? It doesn't make any sense.
right.
Yeah. So I think that and I think what I say he said is so dumb. Like it's kind of unbelievable that someone could be that dumb and that stupid to lie like that. And people know people who lie ridiculously like that. That doesn't make any sense. There's literally no logic behind what he said. You can't lie your way out of that.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, you can't. No. It's stupid.
The follow-up question when you ask or when you tell somebody that you have an STD is never, well, how'd you get it? It's always, who was it?
Yeah. What did you like sit on the toilet seat or like?
Right.
No.
Classic.
No.
Always the toilet seat. That's
right. I scooted across it. I made sure to touch every inch of it.
I can just put the whole toilet seat in my fucking vaginal canal. That's what happened. I fucked the toilet seat. That's how I got it.
I want to absorb everybody who sat on this toilet seat. I want them to be part of me. That's weird. You were saying how you thought about, the chlamydia, but you didn't like initially remember all the bullshit that he tried to feed you, all the stories that he tried to feed you about it. It's like, it's funny how we remember details later.
Mm-hmm. Certain things remind you, or just talking about it will open up. It actually helps with your memory. I've noticed that there's so many details that I know, haven't just talked to someone about the specific situation, but if I didn't talk about it, I wouldn't remember at all. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, like, say you're like a witness to a crime or something, and then the police are always like, well, "Why is your story changed?" It's like, well, now that I'm talking about it, I'm remembering stuff. It's like, that's just talking it out. I have personal experience.
It takes a lot of courage to talk about stuff like that too, because like I have stories where it's like I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like one time, this would have been like 2015. My girlfriend at the time gave me a yeast infection, and I didn't know dudes could get that, so I thought I had herpes or something, and I had to go to the doctor, and she's like, "Oh, just put you on antibiotics. You just have, yeast infection." I'm like, "Oh God." I don't want to talk about that. Especially being like dudes, we're too insecure to be like, I got a yeast infection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like,
I can't drink tonight, guys. I got a yeast infection.
Right. No beer, please. I don't want to make it worse.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm a personal fan of being honest about everything. And you never know what you can tap into and who you can tap into about what you say in your material. There's not anything that I won't talk about. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what it is and who has to say about it. If I find the funny in it, I'm going to talk about it, because what is the purpose of me holding on to specific information? Obviously, if something has happened to me and I feel a certain type of way about it, it must have had to happen to someone in this life, and then maybe they don't know how to deal with it. And if I say it, then maybe that'll help someone. I have people come up to me all the time, and I'm not thinking that my stand-up is like, I don't know, women empowering and whatever, but people come up to me all the time like, "Oh, my life has changed since seeing you," or whatever. "Thanks for saying that." Because so you never know. And when that started happening to me, I was like, well, I'm going to talk about everything, because whatever.
Right. Yeah, it is good because you get feedback from audience members. Like, they'll say things to you. Like, one time I was at the Funny Stop and they were like, I had a bad set, but there was a couple that came up to me after the show and they were like, "No, you were great. These people just suck."
Oh, like, yeah, they tell you that all the time.
So it's like, yeah, I like encouragement like that, so.
Yeah. And it feels good, like the fact that you connected with somebody, even though you didn't realize it, or like it didn't connect with you on that level. It's like you were saying, like, I don't know about the women empowerment or whatever, but I mean, if I had an impact, like, that's great. You never know where people are coming from in that room with you. Everybody's got their own unique upbringing, and your joke could just hit different with them. Even if it might not even be the content, it might just be like your authenticity with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And people, I don't know, people just appreciate honesty. And I'm for one who loves honesty. I love when people are honest with me. So I'm an open book, and I'm gonna talk about whatever shit. I can't wait to start talking about some other stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a lot like ready to go for when stuff opens back up?
I don't know about ready to go. I do have like a couple of things that's like, I know for sure that's going to be funny, but I'm talking about like the tapping into, emotional, or like things that you're going through as a child, childhood trauma. I'm ready to talk about that. I'm ready to test my comedic abilities and like, can I make this something from which I was suffering from since I was a little girl funny in some way? Because I don't know what's funny right now, but it has to be. There's people out there that's going through this, and they should hear something.
Yeah, people smell it out if it's not authentic. So, I mean, worst case scenario, you told a good story. I mean, if it's real,
And stand-ups have a lot of like, aren't just joke tellers. Like, people look to us or look to stand-up comedians for a lot of things. Like, people look to Dave Chappelle when shit is going crazy and we're like, what is he going to say about it? And maybe what he said isn't funny, but his realness and his rawness and his intelligence is what people are looking for. And sometimes some shit just need to be said, and it don't have to be funny. It can just be, whatever. And then you could that part of it is not funny, but what you say next is, and it works. So that is what I'm looking forward to. Just new challenges as a comedian. And see, I don't know. People be still trying to figure out their voice, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here.
I mean, just being honest. That's step one. Like if you're like me doing characters or doing one-liners, like that's not me. I know that. Yeah. But I had to.
That's nobody. Okay?
Yeah, no. You have to be like really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I'm personally not a fan of one-liners.
Nah.
I mean, comedy is subjective, There are artists who paint dots and they make millions.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
People who can color realistic style pictures that look like they're drawings, but they look like a photo, and they make nothing. So,
right, yeah.
Very subjective. A lot of it has to do with how you package yourself, and you know that though. I mean, you're always posting on social media and just churning out content like crazy. Like what keeps that fresh? Like when you come up with an idea, are you just like, we gotta shoot it now? Let's go.
If I'm available to shoot it now, yes, then we should shoot it. And sometimes I think about it. Sometimes it needs a little bit more thought. But a lot of times is off the top of the head and just I like doing improv. I like to be in the moment and be such whoever I am that my response is that of whoever this character is. I like that. I can write it out, and even when I write it out, I go off the script all the time. As I'm for one who believes that you can't necessarily write funny all the time. You have to. It just has to happen. Funny happens is you can't really write it. That's why, like my best friend and I, we wrote a web series and we shot it, but we would like write specific things, and then the part where it was funny, we just leave it blank. I'm like, okay, we'll improv something there. Yeah.
How did that turn out?
It
feels great in the moment.
Yeah, it was good. There was actually one character. He is so fucking funny. His name is Ron Taylor. And we barely wrote any of his lines. We were just like, Ron is going to say something. Like his lines would be, don't do this, and then blank. And just say that. Like his character is saying, you shouldn't, and then that's it. He'd be and then he'll say whatever. And it works, man. That's really good. I like that.
Do you how do you apply that to like a bit like this, the chlamydia bit? Like do you keep an open mind, like while you're on stage, just open to any new ideas that come out and just say them? Or do you like to interrupt the flow of a joke?
I, for one, I like trying new things, and I'm always going to be open for whatever. That's how you get like the best bits, I believe. I don't believe the best jokes come from you sitting. For me, it doesn't come from sitting down. Okay, I'm going to write a joke about this. It's not authentic. Like the jokes that I have that I've written, I haven't physically wrote. It'll come in my head, and here's the topic. Here are the key points, and it fills in itself after that. After talking over it a couple of times, and then like, okay, now I did that. This works, and whatever. But I don't go. This who has chlamydia? I never wrote that down. I got Mighty Morphin STD. I never wrote that down either. It was like I received chlamydia from someone. He said these things. How do I set the crowd up for this next joke? I don't know. I'm gonna just ask him because why not?
And then it worked.
Yeah, it works. Sometimes I catch people off guard. They're like, oh, ew. I'm like, what? I didn't say I have it. I said I had.
Right.
And even if I did, we're not fucking.
Right. You're not going to get it. Ain't like you're going to get it from breathing the same air.
This isn't COVID.
Right.
Okay. Now, how do you like react if that doesn't work from the jump? Like, what's your go-to?
It always gets a response, and any response is a response, and I'm okay with that. And if it doesn't get a response at all, then I try to make the crowd not shame them, but make them feel bad for lying. And then that'll soften them up, and then tell them like, okay, well, how you judging me? Like, you can't judge me. You've done it too. So, and then it just works. And if it doesn't, I don't really remember a time when it didn't go well. It doesn't always go like that response that you heard, that long laugh. It doesn't always go like that, but whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's my story. It didn't happen to you, and then they'll laugh at that or something like that. And then that joke actually sets up like two more, now three more STD jokes. Not that I've had 3 different STDs, but now 4 since I just wrote something just now while you guys were talking. Yeah, so it's a bit of STD jokes. My run-ins with almost getting STDs, or the 2 STDs that I did get that I no longer have.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. Just so everybody knows. Just to clarify, this isn't present tense.
This was 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how like you write just one short little bit based off of an experience, and then it just snowballs into just a chunk. Mm-hmm. What other like STDs do you go into, and like how do you approach those after this one?
I think the next one is herpes from the same guy. And so after they laughing about that, I go, and then he almost gave me herpes, and then they like, whoa, because they already the blow has been softened for this next one, and then they respond the way that they do to the herpes joke. I'm still trying to figure out a bigger punchline to that, because it's like what I say at the end doesn't always go like end with a laugh, but it doesn't go like I don't know who boos, but whatever.
Yeah.
The next part is HIV, and so they like, oh my god, like, and it's from the same guy. And by this point, they are so not exhausted in the bad way, but they're like in disbelief that I would have allowed so many things to happen. They're like, oh my god, like, why are you so stupid? And then I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm dumb. I should have left them alone. So they laugh at that. And then I set them up for the HIV joke. And then that's that. Yeah.
I like how you build from like the least severe of the 3 to the most.
Yeah, because it's real. It's it's real. I don't know if that man has HIV. I know I don't. I think I genuinely believe he probably has herpes. There's no way around it. And it's by the grace of God that I don't.
Right.
Yeah, you can't open that bit with the HIV and then work your way back to chlamydia.
No,
if you open it, you're like, who here has HIV? Like, that's
right.
That's a totally different bit, and also they probably don't like you at that point.
Right. I have noticed, like, if there's like I do a lot of like LGBTQ plus, I think, shows. I do. They want me to be a part of it, and by the time I get like to the STD jokes, it kind of doesn't go as well. And I'm not saying, I don't know why. I'm guessing because, I guess because STDs is just a sensitive topic to the LGBTQ plus community, but it's not like because I remember I was filming something and a joke. It was supposed to something gay for somebody gay, and the joke was something about. I said something about HIV, and they're like, "Well, don't say that because HIV is a sensitive topic to the LGBTQ plus community." Ooh, I got it right third time. So yeah, I try to. I still do it because it's my joke, and I'm gonna do what I want, but not to be insensitive, but just because it's funny.
And you make it about yourself. You make it about your own experience. Like you're not just commenting on it as, it's not just like a commentary.
Yeah, I'm not like, and y'all got AIDS. No.
Yeah.
Never said that.
Good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, she knows us.
But like some stuff is just sensitive. Like if it's a like a predominantly female crowd, then maybe a joke about sexual abuse, even if it has nothing to do with the act, it just like in comparison to something is kind of a sensitive topic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. Anything is sensitive. If I say anything about black people being black in the white room, everybody's uncomfortable. It's like, y'all knew I was black when I walked up here. Right. You knew that was coming out of my mouth sooner or later.
White people are the worst at that stuff. Just that like misplaced, that misplaced offense. It's like, yo.
But I get it. I do understand because like there's no secret that the black community, white people are at the butt of a lot of jokes especially in the past. And now these jokes, goddamn fly. Now the jokes that these black comedians are telling are much more sophisticated, and they do feel guilty because I'm like, damn, I wouldn't want to be white when I hear some of these jokes. But it's like, so I guess it's like a defense mechanism. Like, oh, what are they gonna say? Is it gonna make me feel bad? Oh, please don't say anything about slavery. And I try not to make to pick on white people in my set.
Yeah,
I don't have any white people jokes.
That's one of those things where you gotta like, if it's a room full of one type of person, like I assume like there are certain jokes that you won't say in that case. Or do you look at it as a challenge?
I know that certain jokes probably won't get the greatest response depending on the crowd, but that does not mean I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say it anyway. I say, shit, I've told jokes that I shouldn't have said in front of my mother, in front of my grandmother, in front of kids. I don't care. I don't care who you are. Nobody tell you something.
Yeah.
You have to know that there's a possibility that there is going to be subject matter that you're not going to particularly care about. And it's up to you how you're going to personalize that. Because this shit is not about you as a person. This is just about something that has happened. And if you want to feel guilty about it, that's your own fault, not mine. And I'm not going to not tell my jokes to make you feel good about yourself.
Right.
Preach. That's... it happens too often, but it's like, did you really think I wrote this joke for you?
It's not about
one person I've never met.
Right. It's not literally not about. I told a joke about a white person, not white people, one specific white person saying the N-word near me, and I heard it. And after I told the joke, there was a white girl in the crowd. First of all, I told this joke in a room full of white people, and no one had an issue. There was a white girl who was she started booing me, and that's the only time I had ever been booed to this point. She's like, boo, boo. I was like, what? And she was like, she said, I'm not a cracker. I was like, what? I was like, lady, first of all, I can barely see you. Also, I didn't call you, your family, anybody in this room for that matter, a cracker. No one even talks like that. I promise you, there is, if you hear cracker coming out of a black person's mouth, they're either trying to be silly or they are old as fuck. But I've never in my days ever called a white person a saltine. That's just not what I do. It's not even, y'all don't even care. It doesn't.
He was being a saltine though, saltine. But it reminds me of like a thing that happened at, I think Kenny DeForest told that story about something like that happening at the knitting factory when Chappelle like just ripped into this lady because she just like spoke up or something like that. I thought that was messed up. Very similar story.
Yeah, but yeah, she booed me, and it was funny because like I said, it was a room full of white people, and one of the dudes in the front was turning around, was like, "Shut up, cracker!" I was like, "You see, he said it. I didn't say anything." She was really pissed, like I was told this joke about her or something. I'm like, I didn't even say anything.
Right.
Yeah, I was ready to fight that night. That was a tough night.
Was that your story about you working at the movie theater?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I never said anything. I guess it could be offensive, just like anything that anyone says, but I didn't say anything about white people as a whole. If anything, I appear to be on the white person's side. So
it's like, what are you overcompensating for, lady? Like, what did you do? What did you say that you're projecting right now?
Yeah, she's projecting guilt or like her own personal guilt, not just some like white guilt, but like her own like personal bias or whatever, you know?
Right. But here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing about that night. She got kicked out of the show and she left with a what? A black man. Oh my God. I was so pissed. I was like, why do you feel any type of way about this? You're fucking a black dude. And no telling what the sick shit he says to you. You guys say to each other. So I know you heard the N-word in the house. I know you've heard cracker in your house. I know all that. I know you. I know it. I'm black. I know. I didn't get it. I didn't understand.
It's a plot twist.
Yeah.
No, I mean, going into projecting, like, I mean, this goes back to this dude, this chlamydia dude. Like, he's trying to blame you. It's like, that's a very obvious case of projection, but you know, there are a lot less obvious cases.
Yeah.
People just fascinate me. It's like, if you're that passionate and angry about this one thing, you've definitely, and you're blaming it on somebody else, you've definitely done that thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've never felt guilty at a comedy show. The only time I've ever felt uncomfortable at a comedy show was I was not doing comedy for that show. I was in the crowd to support another comedian. And I had on a shirt in which, y'all know I ain't got no damn cleavage, but you can see inside of my shirt from if you were on stage. And when I tell you I was verbally sexually assaulted the entire night, it was so uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, I understand why people don't want to sit in the front.
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I felt dirty. I'm like, I gotta take a shower because I don't like how I feel. I don't like what these people are saying. And if I say anything, then it opens up a door for them to bash me. So I just had to sit there and take it. God, that was uncomfortable. That was the most uncomfortable comedy moment I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Ugh.
I mean, was it even good? I mean, did it even add to the show? Like, Josh Morrow has a rule as far as crowd work goes, where if it isn't adding to the show, don't do it. It's like, don't.
Yeah, nobody was like on their side. It was one guy specifically who was like, really, really, like sick, like almost rapey talking to me. And it was very uncomfortable. And the crowd was very uncomfortable. And he kept digging a hole. And then there was a woman who did the same thing. And she was digging. And it's just watching you attack a specific person, no matter how it's going. Like if it's whatever you're saying, it just divides the crowd. Because there's people who are like, why are you doing that? And then there's people like, okay, that's funny. But it was weird. And the guy who was hosting, he kept thrusting his hips in front of me, not like in my face, but because where I was sitting was right in front of the microphone and he was right in front of the microphone and he would just like have his legs spread and keep thrusting his hips for, I don't know. It wasn't a part of the bit. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, I got to get out of here. This is
the classic hump the mic stand. Probably the best bit I've ever seen.
Oh my God. It was weird. It wasn't even, he was just standing there and just moving his hips back and forth. I was like, what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah, that is. You're making me uncomfortable just like hearing about it. I feel for you.
Ugh.
But it's like if everybody else is doing it, I don't like to do the if I see everybody picking on one crowd member, like last night I did a show and everybody kept calling this dude Fred Durst.
Mm-hmm.
And he was right up front and he looked like Fred Durst. But it's like now that everybody's done it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
unless I can come up with something that's original that like piggybacks off of that in a way that's like fresh. I'm not going to do it.
You crossed the line.
So I did a little research on some other comics that have bits on STDs. And I found a bit by Ali Wong.
Oh, she's cool.
Yeah, it's a funny bit, and it's about HPV.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
Everybody has HPV. Okay, everybody has it. It's okay. Come out already. Everybody has it. If you don't have it yet, you gon' get it. You gon' get it. It's coming. If you don't have HPV yet, you're a fucking loser. All right. That's what that says about you. A lot of men don't know that they have HPV because it's undetectable in men. It's really fucked up. HPV is a ghost that lives inside men's bodies and says boo in women's bodies. My doctor told me that I have one of two strains of HPV. Either I have the kind that's gonna turn into cervical cancer, or I have the kind where my body will heal itself. Very helpful, this doctor, right? So basically, either I'm gonna die, or you're in the presence of Wolverine, bitches. We'll find out.
Laughing.
She has a callback at the very end of the bit, but I mean, HPV. That's one that I learned about later in life. Like I remember in high school, they brought in a guest speaker, and all he did was talk about HPV for like an hour.
Did he have HPV?
I don't remember.
Statistically, yes.
Yeah, probably. Maybe his wife had it or something, and then she got cervical cancer. I don't remember. There was he did an hour on HPV, which that's way too long for a bit.
It is.
Yeah, his punchlines were terrible. They were all kinds of scary pictures and shit.
He was telling jokes, or are you just kidding?
No.
I was like, what are you talking about? What?
No, there were no punchlines. It was only setups. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
let's go.
That's fine.
I love the way she frames this. Like, everybody's got it. You're not cool if you don't get it. Like, she plays that trope.
Yeah.
And it's just like STDs are these big bad thing, but your bit, it doesn't like necessarily make light of it, but it makes light of the way people behave around it.
Right.
And then hers is like, it's either gonna kill you or it isn't. But isn't that everything in life? Like,
it is literally. And also it's crazy when you find out that you can just have HPV. You don't have to have sex. So many different strains of it that you can literally not get it from sex. You can just have it.
Yeah.
Right. You can shake someone's hand and get it.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh no.
That's what yeah.
Is that real? Now I gotta cite that source.
Right.
Like it's skin to skin contact and it doesn't have to be sexual. That's from what I understand.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, they made us get a couple of shots for HPV, but it only protects you from like 4 different types. But it does kind of put you at higher risk for some of them.
Huh.
Wow.
It's like a bunch of different types of HPV.
That seems weird. There's 31 flavors. It's a Baskin Robbins of STD.
It really is. Anything with an H is going to kill you.
Right. Yep.
Is there a silent H in COVID? An invisible H in COVID?
Yes, COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, COVID.
It says that anyone who's sexually active can get HPV, obviously, which is spread through vaginal and oral sex with an infected person. It can also be spread through skin-to-skin contact, such as shaking hands after poor hygiene or contact with an infected area.
Oh, wash your hands, people.
Yeah.
Wash your hands.
Yeah. Seriously.
Just always. The host of the show last night reached his hand out to shake mine, and I didn't know what to do. So I grabbed his hand and I shook it. Because, I should have.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do because, if anyone ever reaches out their hand to shake my hand, just out of instinct, I'm like, "Hey, man, cool."
Yeah.
But now since we've been fist bumping, so maybe I have HPV now.
You get knuckle HPV.
Yeah.
I'll be mad as. I might as well start having unprotected sex because if I'm gonna get it from shaking someone's hand, I want to get it from having fun.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Damn, I'm over here trying to protect myself with these condoms, getting dry early, and you mean to tell me I can get it from a show from shaking someone's hand?
Yeah.
You got to wear gloves.
Wearing gloves now. Yep.
Oh my God! Literally, no glove, no love. That's crazy.
Yeah, right. There's a whole genre of handshake porn now.
That's fucked up. That is so fucked up.
Man, just little did you know. Do you think this is what we were talking about?
I got HPV
when we were kids?
from business school.
Now that's one where you ask, "How'd you get it?" Because
I think I met someone. I had an interview earlier.
Yeah.
I got it.
That's a noble contraction.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That is so fucked up.
So when we were kids, we used to be worried and we'd make fun of people for having cooties. Were we just telling STD jokes too early?
Yes.
Without knowing it?
Cooties is a cute word for AIDS.
Yeah.
I think cooties was meant to be like herpes for real.
Yeah.
Could you imagine sitting down and being like, "Hey, I have something I need to tell you. I went to the doctor today.
Took a blood test. They did a blood panel.
I have cooties.
I'm cooties positive."
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. Y'all are hilarious, man.
They don't have a cure yet, but there's research. There's researchers, and it's a bunch of kids in lab coats.
Yeah.
Food coloring in the water and the dry ice.
Yeah.
And it's
Please, y'all need to shoot that as a sketch. That shit is so funny. That is so. I don't know where you're gonna find some kids, but get one or two.
Yeah, these days it's tough.
Yeah, right.
Pedophilia.
It'd be weird. Hey, do you want your kid to be in my sketch?
Right. You can.
I was thinking just hanging outside the playground by the school by my house. Hey, you kids want cooties?
Right.
Baking soda volcano.
What if a big adult doctor sits down like a 6-year-old and he has to break the news to him? That would be really funny.
God, that is so. Please shoot that. That is gold.
Yeah.
Man, who do I know that has kids?
I don't know.
I have some friends with kids. Yeah.
We
has cameras.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can make it work.
Kids, cameras, and cooties. Cool. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, just framing it in such a an innocent way too, a serious thing innocently. I've seen comics do that, and I've heard that, and I've tried it, telling a joke. If you can't figure out a punchline to something, or if you can't figure out what angle you're taking, thinking about it and writing about it through the eyes of a child it's a really quick way to shift your perspective. Because you're going to be writing the joke and looking at it from your own perspective. Right. I'm 25. You're 25, right?
Yeah.
I'm 25 years old. I'm this is my life experience, and I'm looking at it through this angle, this lens. But if I were a kid, how would I be looking at it?
Probably wouldn't even understand it if you're a child.
Right. And that's in a lot of cases, that's a very endearing quality for somebody, just that naivety.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting way to look at it. And also you can approach a lot. You can approach a lot of topics, touchy topics that way.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways you can do it. You can take any offensive topic and you're just from the perspective of my dog, or the perspective of a little kid, or an alien.
Right.
I don't know. Do you have a trick for if you're like trying to work out a joke and you're just tunnel vision, you can't see out like outside of it. Do you have like a tool or a trick that kind of like that where you're like, oh, let me look at it from this way?
I don't think so. I think sometimes we get too like hell bent on making something a specific way that sometimes you have to like step away from it for a while and not think about it and then come back to it, and then it'll give you a completely different perspective because you're not looking at it. Like if let's say you're writing a 3-page paper and you've been sitting there for hours and hours and hours, and you go ahead and you go spell check it and you don't see any of the problems until you like take a break, come back, you're like, oh, I done misspelled this. The grammar is all fucked up here. I done missed the comma or whatever. So I think that's my approach. I think that's just maybe from school, and that's what I did in school. So that's just how I apply it to stand up. Yeah, that's it. And also, like with my videos, what I would do, and I still do it, rewatch it over and over and over and over and over again until I'm like, okay, well, where did I fuck up? And you'll always find something. Like, oh, I do this a little bit better. Yeah.
For sure. Do you ever have it where you like leave a joke, like set a joke aside for a little bit, and like weeks later you're in conversation with somebody and then you say something in that conversation, you're like, hold on, I gotta
that's
leave
usually
this
how
conversation.
That is literally usually how every one of my jokes happen. I'm writing it down and I'm talking about it later and I'm like, oh, there it is. Because sometimes we write ahead of our time and our skill level. So I've had shit sitting in my phone since I started that I couldn't even do anything with until I lived a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. Yep.
That's a good quality to have, just to have that awareness where it's like, this is funny, but I'm not going to force it right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not ready. Yeah. Whatever this is going to be great. I'm just not ready because I don't know what I need to know yet.
Figure out how to approach it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good technique for anything. I mean, it doesn't even have to just be comedy. It's like anything in life, you know?
Yeah.
It's this art form is pretty transcendent just because if you're doing it right, you're being truthful, you're being honest, you're being authentic. And like, just whether it's like professionally or in like a relationship, there's some times where it's like, I gotta work on this. Like I gotta come back to this later and figure it out. Or like you said, a paper. I cram though. Like that's one of my fatal flaws. Like I'm working all day, and then I've got a show tonight, but I want to work on this bit. And like I like to write ahead of time. I like to sound it out loud in my house before I like take it to the stage. And lately I haven't really had the time to do that. So I'll just get on stage and like riff. And that's not like my skill. Like I'm good at coming up with an idea and adding layers to it so that when it's on stage, like I'm saying something, but I also mean like so many different things. But now like it's been pretty rewarding, like as scary as it was at first. Because if I discovered a punchline on stage, it's like, that's my time. Like that's so satisfying. It's like, I just came, like, why do I still want to, you know?
Right. I definitely feel that. And so here's the thing about developing that skill is that you're going to have shows where what you're saying, your jokes aren't working, and you're going to have to be able to riff. Literally this whole year, except for 2 shows, or like in parts of last year, like for the last year total, like half of 2019 and this half, when I've gone on stage without a set. And I was like, okay, these are specific things that I don't write down the set anymore. I just talk because I know them jokes funny now. But do I trust myself as a comedian to just say what's on my mind and make it funny? And I've noticed that it helps with a lot of the writing, cuts that out. And I'm like, okay, I'm just talking about it and I'm being real and I'm in the moment. And I think the best bits come from that way. Like, Tony Baker is a comedian who is able to do that. He can make anything funny about anything. Oh, man, he is hilarious. He said it's crowd work.
That impresses me so much.
Yeah.
Just no, it's all about trust. Like you hit the nail on the head. You got to trust yourself.
Yeah, and trust that you're funny. Like, shit. I know I'm funny.
Right. Right. The second you start doubting that, it comes across subtly, but it comes across.
They see it.
They do. Like it's little like body language things, or like you're getting fidgety with the mic, or like I mean, you don't even realize you're doing it.
Wrapping the cord around your elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I used to pull my arm sleeve up. I used to wear jackets and do like this all the time.
Yeah.
My arm or whatever, pulling my sleeve up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll
see comics do that. Like professional comics will either fidget with the, with the mic stand, like, and they're on TV and they're doing that. And then you've got like on the TV, they're doing that. And then there's like other ones that are just like touching their face and stuff when they're nervous, and they're on Conan. Like they do it on Conan.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
it never goes away. I'm like this.
I do it too.
Touching the back of my head. I'm I don't think I touched the cord. Yeah. Where I like hold on to the mic stand behind me. Lean on the stool like this way.
I always gotta remember
grabbing the mic stand.
Get that thing way behind me so I don't ever reach for it.
Right. I'll be like, yeah, and I got my mic stand here and blah blah blah. I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's all about being nervous with confidence.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to be nervous. You're a human being. Like you're on stage in front of people, or you're doing a late night set, or for the first time, and that's got to be nerve wracking as hell.
Hell yeah, I'll be up there scratching the fuck out my eyebrow, like.
Right, you won't have an eyebrow by the time it's over.
Right.
That's commitment to a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you got to trust. You got to trust that you're funny, which I mean, you got to, that comes with experience. You got to be.
You got that reassurance. You build credit as a comedian. You just kind of like after you do well enough. You don't really, it really does a number on your like confidence for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Build that social credit for sure. But also like you need the audience to trust you. So if you don't trust yourself, how do you expect them?
Right.
If you don't think you're funny, they definitely don't think you're funny.
Right. Because you're carrying this, I mean, some of these sensitive topics.
Yeah.
And they need to trust that you're going to take them on a safe journey. Like there's going to be some bumps in the road, but as long as we get there safely, like,
like if your pilot was like, we might be cruising at 35,000 feet.
Yeah.
May or may not land. So,
we'll see.
What?
Yeah. The fuel gauge has been acting up and all the instruments up here are going crazy. I think we'll be okay. Yeah.
Too soon.
One more clip and then we'll call it good. Pull up that Mark Maron bit. This is a different angle on STDs. Set up the bit, Jeremy.
I don't want to. This is your job. Basically, Mark Maron is a hypochondriac, and this is how he gets cured of being a hypochondriac, and he thinks he has an STD without ever having had sex. And he keeps going back to a particular doctor to get checked up, and the doctor has a particular response. And here is the clip now with Mark Maron, Thinky Payne, coming at you live from several years ago.
Good one.
Another week goes by. I'm about to go back to school, and I decide I have herpes on my cock. Now, the irony of this is I had not had sex. I'd somehow gotten it from something. It was a unique case. So sad way, I probably just I probably just jerked off too hard. That was the sad part about it. Like, all right, anyways. Look, I didn't want to do this story. All right, so now I got to go back to Bob Rosen. So this is like, I've been at his house. I've been finger banged by him twice. And now a week later, I'm going back with herpes that isn't even there. So I go into Bob's office and I go, he's like, what's up? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I got herpes. Have you had sex recently? No, I've never had it. Then how do you think you have? I just think I have herpes. And so he goes, all right, take your pants down. So I take my pants down, and he sits down, he rolls up one of those chairs, you know, and he's got my cock in his hand. He's holding my cock. And he looks at it, and he goes, you know, there's nothing here, Mark. Do you like coming here? That ended my hypochondriacal period. That was the end of that. Nip that in the bud.
Do you ever think? Do you ever think you have something you don't?
Yeah. There was a couple of times where I thought I had. I think anybody going to get an HIV test thinks they have HIV. So yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll have a high where I just think I'm having a heart attack, but it's really just like anxiety, and like I've gotten to the point where I've gotten into my car to go to the hospital. Like, and it's like, wait a minute, I probably shouldn't be driving if I'm having a heart attack. And I think, I think the whole, what I like about this bit is he's kind of punching down on his own perspective of it. And a safe bet, like if you want to joke about a topic that's touchy, is to joke about your own point of view of it. Because like nobody can dispute that, especially if you're like punching down on yourself.
Hey, David, did you mean, I thought you just meant with like STDs and stuff. You mean just like
in general, just, yeah.
I'm almost a full-blown hypochondriac my whole life. I've thought I had, do you want to hear the list? I've thought I had like testicular cancer. I thought I've had lung cancer. I thought I had, what was it? Diabetes, all these different things. And like, you know, but the thing is, when I was in college, I did take an abnormal psychology class. So I knew what the threshold for actual hypochondria was, which was it goes on for longer than 6 months over one obsession. And when you go to the doctor, you don't believe your doctor when they tell you you don't have it. So every time I go to the doctor, I believe them, and it doesn't go on for more than 6 months. So I am like just below fully official, but it is like a lifelong thing. So it's crazy. Like it's I've gotten to the point now though where I'm like, nope, I'm crazy, and then I feel better. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't worry about it so much anymore.
Okay.
I thought I was allergic to jackfruit, but it was just nasty.
Yeah. Would you just like throw up or?
No, I was eating it. It did make my tongue tingle, and I thought when I swallowed it, it was making my throat close. But really, I just was like, didn't like it. But nothing was happening. Yeah.
It's mostly when I smoke. I don't know why I do it still. Because when I get a good high, it's like, all right. But like a lot of times, you know, like you said, I feel like my throat's closing up. It's like, did I have an allergic reaction to this weed? Like,
not to the weed. Yeah, I definitely. That's why I couldn't smoke. I could not deal with the constant anxiety.
Yeah,
right. That's why I quit smoking for that reason. I eat edibles now, but I do it in a very small dosage. So it doesn't give me that like crazy, like beginning high. I just like this sort of tapering off effect, you know? Mm-hmm. Cause I used to have really bad allergies too. Here's another one. I thought I had throat cancer too. like I went to the doctor and she's like, you're fine. And I'm like, all right, cool. Here's the funniest one. I think I've told this on stage once, but I rode my bike a lot. And so I thought I had like something wrong with me, like in my, you know, the area you sit on your bike. And like the doctor had to give me like what he said, where he's like, I got finger banged. Remember that he was talking about like what's it called, David?
Colonoscopy?
Yeah.
No, not a colonoscopy, but the where they just like, they check your prostate exam. I had to get one of those. Dude, is the worst feeling. That's when you find out you're not gay. When you're like, when they give you that, or you find out you are. they give you that, and it's like you think it's like going to be gentle, but it's like violent. It's like violent.
What do they do? They like squeeze your balls?
Two fingers, and then they like feel your prostate and then pull out, and then it's like, oh god,
oh gosh,
it's pretty violent, but you know it's quick. So yeah, that was when I was like 25. That was a weird experience.
Imagine that that's something that gay guys and girls are into.
Yeah,
not me.
Right.
Yeah, it's like can I ask my doctor to do it like sensually? Is that a thing?
Slower.
Like, I'm paying you all this money. Will you please like put on some jazz? Like, let's.
Yeah.
I feel like set the mood, you know?
Yeah.
They give you lube at least, or they just sticking their fingers in your dry asshole?
Like, go back in. You're not 100% sure yet. I want to be 100% sure.
Yeah. Do they lube their fingers?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
All right. Jeremy says his asshole's a no-fly zone. Which you good have fun with your prostate cancer.
The dick hanger.
Also, the lube at the doctor is not good lube. I want everyone to know that.
Oh yeah, it's not. They don't get the KY like. They're getting store brand. They're using Vaseline.
It's not the fire and ice.
Oh,
or whatever they call it.
If you ever use fire and ice anything on a woman, you don't care about her.
Right.
No. God. Doctor's like, sorry, I just had jalapenos.
Yeah, you definitely use fire and ice. You definitely want to have another yeast infection because Jesus, that shit. Woo. Anything warming, fire and what the hell would you want icy hot on your dick?
Right.
Or in your vagina.
Doctor's like, yeah, I was just eating wasabi with my fingers. Let's go. You get a little bit of both on that one.
Right.
Wasabi. My God. I have like a Tony Montana like level of like tolerance for it. Not inside of me, like I mean like when I eat it.
Oh, I'm like
when I eat it. No, I just tell my doctor, like, here's some wasabi. No. Like, dude, I can eat a lot of it. It's just not hot to me anymore. It's
like
weird.
wasabi?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I love that flavor.
Yeah.
Wasabi peas, like.
That shit make your fucking nose hairs burn.
Right.
Even if you're not snorting it.
Oh, wow.
Just line it up on a mirror.
You crossed the line.
We talked about a few different angles on this topic. Just like being honest about it. You can find humor in the honesty or the dishonesty, like the things that we do to avoid, like owning up to our own flaws and mistakes. I mean, it's a very human angle on it. And that's what comedy is it's taking, the humanity, which is very imperfect, is more imperfect than it is perfect. Mm-hmm. But we're trying to be perfect.
Yes.
And that's where that humor comes in. Mm-hmm. And I love that about your bit, about like how you took that experience and that asshole and kind of transition that like you weren't even really bashing him. You were just saying what he told you so you didn't have to.
He bashes himself in that one.
Right.
Right.
And that's one thing that I find awesome about that bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. We wouldn't have had you on here if we didn't think you were funny.
That's sweet.
STDs though, like this is a topic that a lot of new comics try to like make fun of. I mean, you see that at open mics where it's like, we thought, my girlfriend and I decided to adopt. We named her Chlamydia. We're not going to keep it. Like things like that. Like, I don't even know if that's one I've heard. It may be. And if that's your joke, I apologize.
Oh my God.
It can
I
be
almost
better.
threw up in my mouth when you said that.
I mean, there's like, you've been to those open mics where it's like, really? That's what AIDS is the punchline? Like,
I think people are just trying to, especially when they're new, they don't know. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to imitate what they know works. So we get a lot of cliche, unrealistic stereotypical jokes and performances. So that's why it's important to be honest. And I tell comedians when they're starting, you need to be honest and true to you and what you find funny about you, not about which don't imitate what you saw, what you think is funny. That's just dumb. We already have these people. We don't need another Kevin Hart. We don't need another Jerry Seinfeld. We need you. We have them. They're here and we don't need nobody else but you.
I always ask the last thing I ask is, do you have any advice for a comic that wants to do a bit about that? And you nailed it. Like,
oh yeah, I didn't even know that was coming. But yeah, I'll be saying shit sometimes. I'll be saying shit.
Yeah, you're clairvoyant, man.
Thank you.
So, yeah. God, I'm so used to asking that now. Now I don't even know what to do.
Yeah, all your skits are hilarious too, by the way. I love those on Instagram.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're simple. They're punchy. Like, we all know those people. Like, all these characters that you're portraying. Like,
yeah. Oh, man.
It's that relatability. It's important. It's truthful. It's like, it's very obviously your perspective of those types of people, but also, like, there's a reason that they have so many views. It's like,
yeah. But thank you. You guys are sweet.
For sure. Keep putting in the work. That's the most important thing. You know that.
I'm never stopping.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like sharks.
Yeah.
You stop moving, you die. All right, Jasmyn, where can we find you on social media, or do you want to plug anything?
You can find me on social media at __JASMYN. That's on Instagram, Jasmyn Carter. On YouTube, Facebook, JASMYN. TikTok, Jasmyn Carter, Jasmyn, JASMYN _Carter. And, just be on the lookout for some shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Steve, Jasmyn, Jeremy, everybody who's listening, thanks for joining us for this episode of You Can't Laugh at That.
Hey.
Because no matter how vulnerable, no matter how much you want to deny it, no matter how uncool it might be, and no matter how much it may affect your life, there is always a way to laugh at that.
Yeah, there we go.
Special thanks to Golden Ox Studio. You can find Golden Ox Studio for all your podcasting needs at goldenoxstudio.com. Hit up Jeremy. He is fantastic to work with, professional. He makes podcasting easy. And if you've been kicking the tires on starting your own podcast, definitely give Golden Ox Studio a look.
If you'd like to weigh in on today's topic, follow us on Twitter at You Can't Laugh Pod, or like us on Facebook at You Can't Laugh at That, and tell us how you did laugh at today's topic or how you didn't. This is all about the conversation, is what I'm saying. All right. Bye.